The fake postseason is upon us. Let's get those last minute waiver wire claims before the fantasy football playoffs kick off. What's up, Couch fam? Welcome to my Week 15 waiver wire pickups video. We're going to have waiver ads at every single position, and they are ranked. You guys know the drill. Let's go. Starting off with quarterbacks, Mike White is going to be my sleeper ad of the week. He is available in most leagues. I know how that's misleading because in your league that's competitive. He's probably already taken. But look, there's a small chance he's available. There's also another small chance, if you're lucky, that he is going to be dropped after he had a minor injury that he suffered. He faced a strong Bills defense and put up a subpar performance, only around 10 fantasy points. So there's still a shot he is available or will be available because of an emotional drop by another fantasy manager. And why I love him so much as your QB2 or maybe even QB1 if you're desperate is the schedule. Week 18 is not on here. That's going to be the Vikings. I know about 5% of you or 2% of you play week 18. Most of us are going to be looking at 15, 16, 17. That's going to be the Lions, Jags, and Seahawks. Love all three matchups. I think Mike White is the real deal. He looks good. He's making Elijah Moore look good. Corey Davis, not so bad. He's targeting Tyler Conklin. They're throwing the ball. Of course, Garrett Wilson's an alpha wide receiver. Looks amazing. I love Mike White. He is questionable. So he did suffer a minor injury. I do expect him to play week 15, but it's far from a guarantee. So this questionable tag also increases your chances of this guy actually being available as a waiver or free agent ad. Now, the rest of these guys is mostly going to be QB news. There's not like anybody you're going to pick up that's going to be a league winner, at least not at the quarterback position. Brock Purdy was actually going to be my number one QB to add, but I like Mike White more. He would be my number one. White would be number one if he wasn't questionable. And also, Deebo Samuel's injured. He's going to miss at least 1 or 2 games, might even miss 3 games or more. So Deebo Samuel's going to be back like week 17 or something like that. So that hurts Brock Purdy. Deebo Samuel is a huge weapon. You're more than likely set at QB, but I do have some other names for you guys. Ryan Tannehill has some pretty good matchups. Unfortunately, he is a low ceiling quarterback. He's just not going to cut it because you're trying to score fantasy points. And yeah, he'll get you 14, 19 fantasy points. He'll do that. But he just doesn't have the upside to put up 30 fantasy points like we see guys like Trevor Lawrence or Josh Allen or Mahomes or Jalen Hurts do. He just never really has that upside. Not even like a Jared Goff who sometimes puts up 20, 30 fantasy points. Other quarterbacks, we have Taylor Heineke, Mac Jones, and Lamar Jackson. Unlikely to play this week. Tyler Huntley may or may not play, so it's going to possibly be Anthony Brown. I don't know. All I know is one of those quarterbacks are going to play, and the Ravens are playing the Browns this week. Desmond Ridder is going to be the starter this week and pretty much guaranteed to be the starter the rest of the season. Colt McCoy is the QB for the Cardinals for the remainder of the season. Kyler Murray, torn ACL. He's done for the year. Sam Darnold is starting, another low upside QB. Matt Ryan will probably start. I don't know if they named and made that official or not yet. I'm pretty sure Matt Ryan is going to start. If not, keep tabs on who is going to play. Not horrible matchups the next 3 weeks. Vikings, Chargers, and Giants. Also, Russell Wilson may start. I don't know. If not, Brett Rypien's going to start, but good matchup against the Cardinals. Not an amazing matchup against the Rams. Not really at all. Chiefs, another good matchup, though. Could be a high-scoring game. And then we have Trubisky probably playing while Pickett is out with the concussion. And keep tabs on Jameis Winston. This is more of a me thing and a Twitter thing. People want Jameis Winston to start. If he's healthy, I don't know why they're starting Andy Dalton unless they're tanking. This is just, it's not right. And Baker Mayfield is starting QB for the Rams the remainder of the season. Now, the reason I don't have Baker Mayfield higher, look, if you're in a super flex league, he's a must add. He should be higher, but it's like I don't see him putting up a lot of fantasy points unless you're in a deep super flex league. I really don't see you starting him against the Packers or Broncos, and we need to start a QB week 15 or 16. Even if you locked up a bye week, like I don't know how you're going to play Baker Mayfield against the Broncos week 16. Everyone loves the story of him coming back and beating the Raiders, but I think that's more on the Raiders defense. Baker did well. Like he deserves the praise he's getting. Great storyline for sure. It's not black and white. It's not either Baker did well or the Raiders did bad. And I think the Raiders aren't getting as much credit for this. The Raiders had a complete meltdown, especially their defense. They allowed this to happen. I don't think the Packers are as bad as the Raiders D, and the Broncos defense certainly not as bad as the Raiders D. Moving on to running backs. Now, wide receivers is next. Don't worry about how I rank the wide receivers, but I think I rank the RBs pretty good here. So pay attention to my rankings here. Wide receivers is just all over the place. Hard to predict. Zonovan Knight or Bam Knight, a must add in every league. He's probably not available in your league, unfortunately. Same thing with Jerick McKinnon. Cam Akers is good. Like, I don't know what happened. It took this long. The man's had like 2 good games the whole year, but as of right now, there's no Darrell Henderson. He's getting the carries. The matchups aren't horrible, so Cam Akers is pretty much worth an add, a must add. He's not a must start, but he's a must add. Messy situation here with the Patriots backfield. Ramondre Stevenson suffered an injury. I don't know if he's playing or not, so everything is going to be a guess when it comes to this team and the Patriots backfield. So Ramondre Stevenson may or may not play week 15. Damian Harris may or may not play week 15. And if those two are out, it's going to be a 50-50 split, is my guess, between Pierre Strong and Kevin Harris. I don't see a reason why either one should be benched or like one should be a workhorse and the other not. A lot of people do actually like Kevin Harris a lot more than Pierre Strong, but like, I don't know. So I guess Kevin Harris is the guy, but Pierre Strong looked pretty good. So it's like, who knows what's going to happen? Maybe even Bill Belichick doesn't know. He might just go with the hot hand. As of now, I'm calling it a 50-50 split. Regardless, Jordan Mason, definitely worth an add. We see there's only one true cuff, one true RB2 behind C-Mac, and that is Jordan Mason, and he's a pretty good runner too. Then we have the Patriots running backs, Pierre Strong, Kevin Harris, Jaylen Warren. He's the guy behind Najee Harris. And we have a messy situation with the Texans. Dameon Pierce almost surely is going to miss at least 1 week. Now, Eno Benjamin just got released. So this was a messy situation, just got a little bit less messy. I honestly don't know who the running back is going to be if Dameon Pierce is out. My guess is Dare Ogu. I think Dare would be the guy, because Rex Burkhead has pretty much got phased out around the time the Texans had a bye week. He hasn't really done anything. Remember when Rex Burkhead was semi-relevant in fantasy the first 5, 6, 7 weeks? That's no longer the case at all. Like, he hasn't done anything. He's barely touched the ball. So if I had to choose between the two, I would go with Dare. It's just not a good team with not a lot of touchdowns, and it's going to be a split. I don't see Dare getting like over 80% of the snaps. We'll see. Do they activate Royce Freeman? Is he still on the team? I don't know what's going to happen. I don't like the situation. If this was the best offense or something, like if it was the Chiefs or something like really good offense, then I might change my mind. But it's not. And Josh Kelly, he's the handcuff for Eckler. Tyler Algier, he's getting decent snaps and carries, is just a low upside running back. You guys know I don't like Algier that much. Khalil Herbert has a chance to come back this season. He is on IR still. We keep tabs on him. Marlon Mack becomes the Broncos RB2 by default. Another Broncos RB bites the dust. Mike Boom on IR and done for the season. And then we also have Zamir White if anything were to happen to Josh Jacobs. Moving on to wide receivers. Like I said, don't pay too much attention to these rankings. I do have some decent ads, though, that you may want to consider. Chase Claypool, the #1 receiver for the Bears. Jamison Williams, a good stash, keeps getting better and better each week. Elijah Moore has been revived by Mike White, or the switch from quarterback. Jahan Dotson is alive again. He's doing well. Chris Moore, the #1 receiver for the Texans. Matt Collins, kind of a low upside wide receiver, but a decent floor. Like, he'll get you like 9 points every week, which is not really good. Maybe he gets a lucky touchdown. Raiders need to score more passing touchdowns, though, for that to happen. My guess is Treylon Burks is going to play. There's a small chance he's available in your league, although unlikely. If he doesn't, I would go get Nick Westbrook. Ikeen, I don't know how to pronounce it. NWI, how we call it on Twitter. It wouldn't be Robert Woods. I just think Robert Woods is just such a low upside wide receiver that you can do better by literally starting any random wide receiver that's playing. Demarcus Robinson, pretty surprising. He's really stepped up since the injuries have happened to the Ravens wide receivers, and Duvernay's not really been the man as he was the first few games. So the last 4 games, Robinson's getting nearly 7 targets a game, still making it happen with Huntley. So whether Huntley's playing or Lamar Jackson is playing, Demarcus Robinson, not so bad. I wouldn't trust him at all with the 3rd string QB, but with Huntley or Lamar, not so bad. We also have in deeper leagues Alec Pierce, Van Jefferson, Isaiah McKenzie, Ben Skoranek, Nelson Aguilar, and Jawan Jennings. We know Debo's going to miss a few games. For tight ends, I was totally wrong about Chika Okonkwo, but hey, that's good for me. I have him in Dynasty, so that's great. I was telling people, like, I do not trust this guy. Like, don't start him last week. Like, he is a good sleeper, but we have, like, 13 other options, like 12 other options at tight end. So don't start Okonkwo. Well, he was kind of like the best tight end last week other than Evan Ingram. He was amazing. He looked great, too. That's the thing. Like, He's really good in his roles. He's really athletic. The big plays are there. The touchdown potential is there. The versatility is there. And also the kind of like the target share is there. Like, there's not a lot of weapons here. They kind of have to use this guy. Like I was saying, like Robert Woods, he's just such low upside. Like Robert Woods, he's not an alpha wide receiver. So I do like him, deserves an ad. Tyler Conklin also, I'm still on the Conklin hype train. 7 targets a couple games ago. Last game, 8 targets. So like he's getting the targets, not really the production is there, but we know when wide receivers and tight ends get the targets, the production follows. It indirectly correlates the most with fantasy points, getting targets, that is, for receivers. And then we also have Dawson Knox, Cole Kmet, Taysom Hill, Hunter Henry, another decent matchup against the Raiders, and Austin Hooper. For defenses, if you got an elite defense, you know who I'm talking about, right? Like the Chiefs D or Eagles D or Cowboys D. Roll with them. That's good. Good for you. Applause. Good for you. If you don't, try to get one of these top 3 defenses. Packers D, Broncos D, or Commanders D this week. If you're looking for defenses for the playoffs, just look at the Week 16 schedule, Week 17 schedule. You'll be able to kind of figure that out. Or watch my previous video, the Week 14 waiver wire ads video. I went over some suggestions for the playoffs. Try to get one of those 3 defenses. If you can't, the Cardinals should be good, especially if Russell Wilson is out. Also, the Browns, Steelers, Panthers, Saints, Jets, Patriots, Vikings, Bengals, Bucks, or Giants. Now, keep in mind, the top 3 is the ones that I strongly recommend. Cardinals, we'll have to see yet what's up with Russell Wilson, but that's an okay one as well. So hopefully you can get a top 3 or top 4 defense. Same thing with kickers as far as the tier goes. Try to get a top 3 defense a top 3 kicker on this list if you can. If not, no worries. Number 4 and 5 is pretty good. So look, if you have one of those elite kickers, what are we at? Is it 6 elite kickers? Kind of, yeah. Like Bucker, Tucker, Bass. Trying off the top of my head, Daniel Carlson, the Raiders kicker. Evan McPherson's kind of borderline. There's another guy in there as well. So like one of those guys, if you have them, good for you. That's great. Just roll with them. If not, hopefully you can get one of these top 3 kickers in Nick Folk, Brett Maher, or Cameron Dicker. If you can't, top 5 will do. Robbie Gould or Greg Zuerlein. Great matchups. I love these guys. I trust these guys. They're all accurate. And if you're in a deep league after that, I can't vouch for any of these other guys after the top 5. It is going to be a kind of random, hopefully you get lucky. But hey, I just named off like 10 or 11 kickers. Hopefully you got one of those guys. If not, go get Joey Sly. He's the Commanders kicker. Graham Gano, Will Lutz, Ryan Suckup, Brandon McManus. If he's healthy. Now, if he's healthy, you might be able to give him a boost all the way up to like number 6 or 7. And then we also have Chase McLaughlin, the Colts kicker. We could have Greg Joseph on this list. I think Greg Joseph could be like number 8 as well. Kind of tough to rank these kickers. But that's going to do it for this video. Make sure you subscribe to this YouTube channel. Also, subscribe to our second YouTube channel. That's right, we have a second YouTube channel. It's called Fantasy Couch Podcast. Subscribe to that as well. Drop a comment. I read every single question. Let me know what you're thinking. Let me know if you have any fantasy questions, and I'll answer them. All right, guys, that's going to do it. See you on the next.